The Packers will have a first and goal. Receiver to the right, Jimmy Graham. Rodgers, quick toss in the flat, left side, got his man for the end zone, and a touchdown.
First and Goal podcast on Spreaker.com. And we're now on all your favorite platforms: iHeartRadio, Spotify, CastBox, Google Podcasts, Tumblr, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can always follow us on Twitter at First and Goal Pod and our Facebook page, facebook.com/First and Goal Pod 33.
Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. Every day I'm 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everybody, to another live edition of First and Goal with me, your founder and producer, Jay in the UP. And joined tonight, because it's Tuesday, we have our host with the most in Georgia, Dave, and the agent for Fantasy Files, Dylan Busby. Hi, guys.
Hey, First and Goalers, Fantasy World, I'm back.
Woo! All right, we are going to jump right in because we got a lot to get to tonight, and we also have the Packer legend and Hall of Fame.
Hold on, Jay. I got to get to something. I'm busting this out right now. We have had something break today that has made the show jump to a new level that people are noticing us as a group. And I'm honored to say this because I know you've been scratching and clawing your way since 2014 to get this show up and running. And I'm glad you picked myself as the host and Dylan as the fantasy segment to make the show complete. And they're noticing because as a show today, folks, we got an offer to come on another show. It's called the Full Monty Football Show. And the guy's name is Sports Whisperer Monty on Twitter, at MontyJP231, asked us to come on, and I gladly chose Jay to go on because he's earned it. He's been scratching and clawing. We're finally getting noticed. We're getting heard, and it's an honor to have Jay go on for First and Goal podcast and go on the Full Monty Football Show to represent us. And I know he's going to do a damn good job. So thank you, Jay, for doing what you've done and going out and representing us.
Well, I will say this. Like, it's been a long time. It started a long time ago. And it's been my dream to get this far. But I was always wise enough to know I wasn't going to be able to get there by myself. And so it's been a long search, and it just kind of happened this way. And then we ended up having Dylan, and the funniest thing is, Dave, is that my views and the way I've come about things have changed, but my overall goal has always been the same, and that's where you and I are always the same. It's about educating and answering the why and the how of how this works, and still being able to be a fan, because I'm never going to stop being a fan. But it's easier to watch football when I know the whys and the how they got there from the whys. And that's what I don't...
There's always something to learn in football. Always.
Right. And so, and that's our goal. And then, hopefully we can get a peek into the window of these guys' lives like, we got with Kingsley last week, of just a little bit who they are outside of football. And that's important, too, because they're human beings and they're young men doing something that we all wish we could do.
Of course, and it's like we live vicariously through them, and being, especially with how close the Packers Nation is with their fans and Philly fans, Dylan, to their team, especially because they waited so long to get that first Lombardi, and they finally got it. And it shows how close the fans they are to their team. And I'm just glad that you are there to represent First and Goal Pod to go on the Full Monty Football Show. It's really an honor to see you go on because I know how hard you've worked.
Well, and I thank you guys for I appreciate all the help you guys have put in too. It is a team effort, but I will say this: the takes will be represented, and we will be. I hope we get a chance that I can tell people how we were the ones getting picked on about the Mike Daniels. How even Dave is still vehemently disagreeing of how the roster is going to be out. And over the weekend, I'll
hold my stance.
More and more right. And it's not that I'm right now, but it's trending that direction. We're not crazy. We might be different. It might not be popular, but it's not coming from a hot take aspect, folks. That's what we want people to know. It's coming from just like how Dave and I sat down on a conversation off air one night and discovered it's pretty easy for us to figure out how Gunakunst builds his roster. And Dave, what did we discover?
We discovered that it was built a lot on RAS scores. He goes off of those scores for the draft, and there's a certain mold that he wants for his team of versatility, and that's why LaFleur and Pettin work so well in that category, because they want versatility as well, and that's why everything's meshing together right now.
And so I hope that's the few of the things we can get across, and we get to talk a lot of Packers. So it's going to be interesting of what they're going to send us. We're on it's August 11th, Sunday, sometime between 11 and whenever their show is. We'll know more because it's a couple weeks away, but
I believe it's 11 a.m. and they're going to have you on, I think, for the hour is what he was saying, is what Monty was saying.
Well, there you go. So I think you'll get a good idea, hopefully nationally, because it's a larger audience, obviously, than we have, of what we're about and what we're doing. And it's not about hot takes, man, but it is about trying to come up with something that's different. It doesn't have to be right. I mean, we're going to be wrong, just like everybody else. But it's. Oh,
everybody. I mean, we have opinions, yes. Well, we definitely have that. But now, with us getting a larger base, we're an NFL podcast. I mean, yeah, we're Packers fans. Dillon's a Philly fan, and there's diversity there. But the thing is, we have a whole ton of diversity of team beat writers coming up in the next month, guys. We have Lions, Saints, Colts. Like, we have a ton, and it's just filling up. And we only got a couple more spots to fill on the rest of the month of August, and we'll be going into September. So, I mean, we're rolling. And like I said, going on the Full Monty Show, I think we're going to go ahead and get a lot more followers off of that and get seen, get heard through Jay. So I'm just excited because of the fact that this is big news.
I am definitely excited.
He's still starstruck, guys.
I'm a little. It's a little surreal because I'll be honest. It's been rough for me, man, and I have gave up a few times because it's hard to find. It was hard to find what I felt was the other my yang to my yin kind of thing, and I'm
a big yang.
Yeah, I always felt well, and that's the funny thing. We couldn't be any more size disproportionate between the way we're built as human beings too, which is almost comical in itself. On top of everything
like
else.
The movie Twins.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, the movie Twins. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger and you're Danny DeVito, just 20 pounds or 200 pounds lighter.
Yeah,
Happy birthday, Arnold.
Oh yes. It's not a tumor.
Thank you, Dillon.
Oh,
get to the chopper.
All right. Well,
you sound like you were choking. Are you okay?
First of all, we can't skip things because we want to get to Dillon's stuff, and we've been ranting almost 10 minutes now. So we're gonna get to the news, okay, folks? So.
News update.
Oh, me? The news? Woohoo!
Yeah,
well, we got Oh, okay. Sorry, I blacked out a little bit because I was so excited for you. Anyways, I gotta go ahead and start off fast. News broke today about a story covered by TMZ. Zeke and the Cowboys are being accused of a cover-up for a car crash 2 years ago when the Packers played Dallas in the playoffs. 4 days prior, looks like Zeke had T-boned a gentleman named Ronnie Hill and no police report was filed. Nothing was reported to the NFLPA or the NFL, and it's not looking good as it's opening up, because now I've learned that Ronnie Hill has photographs of Zeke in his car. He has Zeke out of his car with photographs. Zeke is acknowledging a tweet that he later deleted that Twitter recovered, saying that he's been in a bigger collision, LOL, after a car crash. That really kind of bothers me how he's going about that. But it's just the overall fact that this is his third time involved with some sort of way involved with the law. First time he was speeding on the highway, 110 miles per hour, thinking he's Need for Speed Paul Walker. Then you got the freaking shut up, Bill. And then you got the second time,
that's Fast
which
and
the
Furious,
domestic
dude. Need for Speed.
I say Need for Speed.
Yeah.
No, because Paul had the need for speed. Just the speed didn't have the need for him. Oh, too soon. Okay, sorry. Anyways, the second time he had domestic violence. He had a problem, but not a charge. He had a problem with his ex-girlfriend, and it ended up him getting suspended 6 games. He tried to postpone it, but it still kept that 6-game suspension from Roger Goodell. Now this, I believe the NFL will go investigate, because for one, in a collection bargaining agreement for the last time it happened, they got together and agreed upon, players are now responsible for reporting accidents or any other involvement with the law to the NFL within, I believe, it's 9 or 10 days. And this is 2.5 years, folks. I'm beginning to think Zeke starts to think he's above the law and above things just because he's a football player. And, of course, it doesn't look good on Jerry, because Jerry's always been in some sort of news in a bad way. I just don't feel good about this.
He's like this, baby. He's a maverick.
I don't feel good about this overall, because not even fantasy football. Like this is a guy that it sounds like was given hush money to pay for his bills, and it just wasn't enough. And now he's trying to go get more because Zeke's getting a payday soon. I'm just not a big fan of the whole situation. And now it's coming to light that it looked like it was a cover-up. And I'm reading from TMZ, team assistants knew about it. Coaches knew about it. They're all guilty by association here. In Texas, as a state law, if you go ahead and get in a vehicle incident and it's over $1,000 in damages, which it clearly was, it wouldn't surprise me if the NFL comes down hard on Jerry and Zeke and the Cowboys with draft picks, ownership stuff, because, hell, Brady deflated a football, and they lost a ton. Let's see. Spygate. It was a camera.
Dave. Zero faith. None.
Oh, yeah, after the whole Tyreek Hill thing.
Actually,
that moves me on my next thing. Tyreek Hill. It's like karma kind of came back and bit him in his butt. I disagree with NFL's decision not to suspend him. Well, he came back, he bruised his quad, and it looks like it's a good part of his thigh, and he might be out for the rest of the training camp. So maybe karma's kind of giving him a sign to quit screwing around and beating your wife and your kid. But anyways, I've got to move on to a brighter light. I'm glad the Rams did this. They signed Steven Jackson back for a day and retired him as a Ram. I grew up watching this guy. I know Jay did. I know Dylan did. Steven Jackson, oh, God, if he had a QB instead of Mark Bolter, I feel like that guy could have had a championship.
And the cool thing is that he got to learn from one of the greats in Marshall Faulk.
God.
And honestly, he really made that franchise have to push Marshall out probably a little sooner than they wanted to, because he was just so
Jackson was so good
so early. Yeah. And people don't really – backs are often forgotten. And I know you've heard me say it, so I'm not being a hypocrite. I say you don't pay them. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate it. I played running back. I played safety when I played, and I always loved running backs. I love the run game. But they get forgotten often, as great as they are, unless they did something catastrophic. Bo Jackson had little to no